Rates have been going down, including 2 cuts from the Bank of Canada. So obviously it's time for you to buy a house, right? Maybe not. My name's Miles Noack of the Noack Mortgage Team, powered by Andy Mortgage, and today we're going to take a dive into real estate and whether you should be jumping off the fence to purchase a house or not. Now, I've been receiving lots of messages through social media platforms, through emails, phone calls, text messages, and everything you can imagine in regards to rate cuts coming down and things happening. And is now the time to buy a house? Is now a time to buy an investment property? Is it time to sell my house and move? Is it time to get my first home? And I think what we really want to do with this is dissect why you want to do that. So let's slow down a little bit and go to the start here. Just because the Bank of Canada has cut interest rates or the overnight rate at their prime lending rate doesn't directly correlate over to the fixed rate mortgages. Those are governed by the bond market. So we're still seeing quite high interest rates on those variable rate mortgages. And yes, the fixed rates have come down a bit and they're showing some downward pressure, which is fantastic. But we still also have to qualify you at that mortgage stress test rate of contract plus 2% or 5.25, whichever is greater. So currently right now, we're still qualifying a lot of people in the mid 6s and 7s, which makes it a little bit more challenging to buy a house. Just because the Bank of Canada cut by a half a point doesn't mean getting a mortgage is going to be a walk in the park. And sure, housing prices have dropped, especially condo prices in places like Vancouver and Toronto, but they haven't dropped dramatically in a lot of other areas, especially for single-family detached homes. We haven't seen those drastic declines on those prices. And now we're kind of stuck in this awkward spot where people wanting to buy houses are looking to get a deal and looking for lower purchase prices, but then you've got the seller sitting there going, well, no, we still want to sell our house for what we think it's worth, and we're looking at previous values and things like that. So it does put us between a bit of a rock and a hard place when it comes to, purchasing real estate. Now, let's take a look at some of the advice that's floating around on things like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram and stuff like that, where there are people out there trying to say that if you don't buy now, you're completely screwed. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You have to buy a house now. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry about that. It just happened. We're just going to run with it and pretend it didn't happen. But they're trying to push this narrative that all of a sudden the housing market's going to explode again and things are going to go crazy. And spoiler alert, I just don't think that's going to happen. The real question you want to be asking yourself if you're looking at jumping off the fence and purchasing a property is, why do you want to buy? Not, am I going to buy a house now and sell it in 12 months and then buy another one and sell that one and become rich? You need to look at this and say, why do I want to purchase a home? Or is your family getting bigger? Are you expecting a new child? Are you thinking about selling a property and upgrading or getting something with a basement suite? Are you looking at buying an investment property, and is that investment property going to return positive cash flow or at least cover itself until these rates get back down to a normalized level? You really need to dissect why you want to buy a property and not just look at it like you're going to get on some hot deal that's going to make you a ton of money, because that's where you can honestly lose a lot of money. Yes, we've seen instances where something like an asset like real estate or anything like that, people make a lot of money on it because it goes up and up and up. But I just don't think that's going to happen. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Now, when we talk about the things happening right now with real estate that are kind of making people think these things, one of the things is interest rates. And yes, I do believe interest rates are going to continue to drop. I think we're going to see a couple more cuts this year. I think they're going to continue cutting throughout next year. Are they going to hit 2%? No, probably not. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. And if it does, it's going to be way down the line when hopefully I'm retired, hopefully you're retired, and none of us have mortgages anyways. The reality behind all of this is rates are going to go up and down. But one of the bigger things we're seeing is a lack of something that we had during the last couple of years. And that was FOMO. People were so afraid to miss out on the crazy low interest rates that were available. They were thinking that, house prices were going to continue rising like crazy. And people really did jump off the fence because of this fear of missing out. I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of for sale signs around my neighborhood and not many sold signs. You also have investors having a little bit of fear behind getting back into the market. They're cautious because a lot of them may have seen losses. So getting back to the initial question, Is it a good time to purchase a home? And to be honest with you, that really depends. If you've been considering buying a house for months or a year or 2 years or whatever, and you're at a position where you're looking at it going, okay, I'm okay with the purchase price, I'm okay with the interest rates and the payments, I really want to buy a house, by all means, pull the trigger on it. Talk to a mortgage professional, get yourself pre-qualified or pre-approved, talk to a real estate agent who can show you listings, and go out there and purchase a property. But if you're looking at it going, I'm gonna dive into the market and buy a property just because I think I'm gonna get one screaming deal and make it rich down the road, I don't think that's necessarily the right reason to jump off the fence into the market. Is there good times and bad times to buy real estate? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it really depends on you and what you're doing. To sum this all up, the Bank of Canada rate cut might seem like a green light or a go signal to jump off the fence and start purchasing real estate. But I don't think it necessarily is exactly that. I think it puts us in a perspective and an opportunity where we can look at real estate and dissect, okay, does this make sense for me and my family right now? But jumping off and falling and getting swept up in the hype, I just don't think that's the right play. So sitting back, analyzing, and really looking at your needs is where you're going to excel. Now, what do you think about the Canadian housing market? Drop your comments down below. And if you got any value out of this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel so more people like you can see these videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.